Well, hey y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to TLT with Lita. I hope you all are having an amazing Tuesday. I hope you all are doing well. Want y'all let me know as you're coming in the chat how you're doing. All right, checking on YouTube over here. Y'all come on in, come on in. Let's spend this time together. Let's continue our conversation about change. I'm excited for it today. All right. So, again, welcome to all of you. Welcome to Tuesday Leadership Tips with Lita. Again, I hope you all are doing well. If not, I hope things get better. So, we're having somewhat of a follow on conversation, and I kind of want to continue that conversation before we move into a different conversation, which I believe it leads up to this conversation. So, again, welcome to Tuesday Leadership Tips with Lita. Today, I want to talk to y'all about shifting. We talked about the first portion of it, talking about nothing changes until you change. And that is just a fact. So I want to follow up with this conversation a little bit further as we talk about transformation. It's not just about awareness, but it's about alignment. Alignment is so important to shifting into the next thing, the next level, the next phase. Transformation is so important. And transformation is not just about awareness, but it's about that alignment. So, as leaders, we often change, but we resist. We resist the change sometimes in areas that we require growth. I was talking to a group of people this weekend talking about growth. Growth requires change. If you don't want to change, you really don't want to grow. And as we are changing, and we all are changing, whether we admit it or not. We're changing in some way, shape, or form. We're changing our minds. We're changing our habits. We're changing, even in some ways, the directions that we're traveling. We're changing. So, oftentimes, as leaders, we crave a new outcome, but we cling to the old mindset, the old habits, the old systems. And I'm saying this not just to be saying it, I'm saying it because it was true for me. I was holding on to old mindsets, but wanting a new outcome. And the two can't coexist. You can't have a new outcome and not have a changed mind. You can't you can't have a new beginning of something and not change your habits or change the systems that you use. And so this conversation today is about challenging us as leaders to go beyond realization into actual activation, because revelation without transformation still leads to stagnation. Oh, this is so true for me. You can have all the revelation in the world. And I found out in my own personal life, I can have all the revelation. I can have all the information. I can have insight. I could even have foresight. But if I don't transform in whatever area I need to transform, whether that's my thinking, whether that's, again, my habits or the things that I'm doing, it still led me to stagnation. And I don't want that for you. I do not want that for you. So do this for me. Think about this for a moment in your mind. What's one change that you say you want, but you haven't taken action toward it yet? One change that you say you want, whether you're on YouTube, IG, or TikTok, is one change that you want, but you have not made any action towards it yet. And if you have taken action, are your actions aligned with the change that you're asking for, that you're trying to reach. I know personally, sometimes I would want the change, know what action I need to take, but I would do the action that required less of me, that didn't move the needle to the change, but I did something that made me feel like I was doing something. I hope I'm making sense. If I'm making sense, somebody put a yes in the chat. If I'm making sense, I was doing things that had me busy, but wasn't moving me towards the change I was seeking. And so, if you have something that you know you need to change in your life, it could be a number of things, but you have to know what change you need in your life. And based upon that change, have you taken any action toward it yet? I mean, relevant action that's going to move the needle to the change, or have you just been taking actions that don't move you towards change? Because busy doesn't mean that you're moving towards change. Busy could just be busy. I know because I've done it. Busy could just be busy, but it doesn't mean that the things that you really want or the things that you're really seeking, that you're moving towards that. And so as you're thinking about that, and I want you to be real with you, because at the end of the day, if you're not real with me, it still doesn't pull you from the place of stagnation or pull you out of the position of just doing busy work. You got to be real with you. You got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I really need to move and do this thing. I really need to take action in this area because I know I need change. And things don't change, y'all, until we do. They don't change until we change. So let me give you quickly, look in the chat just a moment. I want to give you quickly some reasons why we stay stuck as leaders. The number one thing I can think of is we want comfort over growth. It's easier to stay where we are than to risk who we will become or who we want to become, but we're not sure if we're going to become it or not. So we want comfort over growth. And anything and anybody that I know that has done great things or reached great milestones, accomplished great things, or even accomplished things that may not be great in somebody else's eyes, but they made the accomplishment because it was on their list of priorities. Anybody that has done that had to come out of comfort. They couldn't stay there. And comfort will assassinate your dream. Comfort will make you stay in a place where nothing happens, but you feeling good about where you are. And when you take that step to step out of comfort into a place where you start growing, where you start progressing, it's going to be uncomfortable because growth requires stretching. And sometimes we don't want to stretch, y'all. I don't want to stretch all the time, y'all. I if I really be honest with you all, sometimes I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable for a little while. But this is what I've learned, that being comfortable for a little while will turn into a longer while, into a longer while, until you get comfortable being comfortable and you don't want to come out of it. So that's one of the reasons we as leaders, we stay stuck. We want comfort over growth. Sometimes we want control over trust. We want change, but on our terms. Is anybody like me that At some point in time in your life, you'd rather have control of things than to feel like you don't have control. And if you want change, you want it on your terms. That was me. That was me, y'all. That was me. I don't mind the change as long as I can, you know, put the left and right limits. I can put a ceiling on it. I can stop it. I can speed it up. I can do the things that I want to do with it. Then I'm okay with the change that I want. And sometimes we get stuck because we want control over trust. Whether we got to trust ourselves, trust that what we have in us is enough. I see you, Shalina. I see you. I'm telling you, I know it to be true. Or it's wanting control over the people we lead. We want them to do it our way instead of letting them blossom in their giftings, in their abilities. We want to be able to control that. And we get stuck doing that. Trying to control that, trying to control everything, you're not going to really experience the change that you want. It's so important to be free enough, to be trusting enough to relinquish control in some things. In some things. And then another reason, and this is the last one I'm gonna give, is we want image over authenticity. Oh, oh my goodness. I'm thinking about, because I see you on, I'm thinking about um my coach that I had at one time. She was helping me with content. She was helping me to kind of reinvent and show up differently. Coach Gabrielle, I appreciate her so much. I'm telling you, I revert back to the notes that I had at that time so many times. And as I'm talking about this now, image over authenticity, I wanted the image I was presenting to be what I wanted to be. And more than that, let's be real now. More than that, I wanted it to be the image that I thought that everyone wanted. I thought that that image was more important than my authenticity. And I'm telling you from experience, you get stuck when you want the image over who you really are. And I got to the point, I guess the connection on one of these is low, but I got to the point where I said, you know what? I'm to the point where I don't care what people think. I'm to the point now where I'm comfortable to the point that if people like me or if they don't like me, I'm okay with either. If they like what I'm doing or not, I'm okay with it as long as I'm authentic in what I'm doing. And as long as I remain authentic in what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. And that, I think IG came back up again. But this is what I'm saying. What I was saying while the connection was lost on IG, I was saying that I wanted the image, and the image was more important to me than my authenticity. And that right there is a reason for leaders to get stuck. Now I'm to the point where I don't care what people think. I care that I am my authentic self. If I am authentically me, if people like me or if they don't, I'm okay with either. Because I cannot base who I am or who I am becoming on somebody else's opinion. I cannot let my life be based on somebody else's thoughts of me. And so in this particular season, wherever you are, whatever you have going on in your life, just be authentically you. If you will be you, the right people will find you. And this is a leadership truth. Until you evolve, if you will, internally, every external change will just recreate the same problems in new packaging. So you have to first change you from the inside, not just outwardly, but inside. And I shared this with a few friends. I was saying to them that I wanted my outside to look like how I felt on the inside. On the inside, I was feeling amazing. On the inside, I was peaceful, joyful, loving life, living life. And I wanted my outward to look like my inward, not the opposite. A lot of times people try to change their outward before they've changed inside. And when it comes to change, change happens inside first. If you change inside, the things that change inside of you will eventually show outside. And so don't allow any of those things I mentioned to keep you stuck, to keep you stagnant in any area. Don't desire comfort over growth. Don't desire control over trust. And don't highlight or lean more on the image more than your authenticity. Because people want the real you. They want the real you. And when people get to know the real you, they'll begin to trust you. They'll begin to trust you because they believe that, hey, that's who he really is. That's who she really is. And so those of you who are connected, let me know. Put in the chat the area that you that you need change in, that you need even if it's just accountability, you can make the change, you can do the action. You just need accountability. If you all would just put that in the chat, and then so someone else can know that they're not the only ones who need accountability, whether that is, hey, every day I need to get up and I need to do X, Y, and Z, or on Tuesdays, I need to do this. On Fridays, I need to do that. Sometimes we need that accountability. And this is one thing that I know and that I've learned is that when you have accountability, it helps you move or keep moving, if you will, in the right direction, in the direction that you set out to go in. Not saying that every now and then you don't have to pivot, you don't have to change some things. I'm talking about if you have accountability going in a certain direction, you will more likely keep going in that direction because you got that accountability partner. So as we are getting close to bringing this live to an end, I want to give you these three phases of true change for leaders. It's three phases. Number one is awareness. You got to be able to see it clearly. You got to be able to see yourself clearly. You got to be able to see the situation clearly. Change begins with self honesty. I talked about that a little bit earlier. You got to be honest with yourself because you can't lead what you won't look at. You can't change what you won't, or that you keep turning a blind eye to it. You keep blinking or winking at it. You got you got to be able to ask yourself, what belief, what behavior, what boundary is holding me back, and where am I supposed to be going? You got to be able to answer that question. What's holding you back from going where you want to go? And what truth about your leadership have you been avoiding? I share with y'all mine. It, all of the things that I told y'all that I did in being stuck, those are the areas that I am actively and I have to continue to work on because I don't want to be stuck and I don't want to be stagnant anymore. So you got to have that awareness. You got to be able to see it clearly. And then after you see it clearly, you got to have that alignment. You got to live it consistently. You can't just live it on Mondays and then the other 6 days of the week, you go back to the regular thing, the old thing. You got to be able to live it consistently. I was thinking about just something so simple as fitness. That's not something that just happens overnight. It takes time to work out and to do it consistently and to be disciplined in it so that you align with whatever level of fitness that you want. And this could be in your business. What do you have to do every day consistently or so many times a week consistently to make sure that you're in alignment with your vision or with your goal? And whether that vision is for your business, is for your personal life, is for your relationship, whatever that alignment is or that vision is, you got to live it consistently. Once you see it, once you're aware of it, you align your choices with your desired outcome. And sometimes you got to make good choices. I have this shirt that I work out in that says make good choices. And I wear it to remind myself because sometimes we're making choices, they're not evil choices, but sometimes they're not the choices that you need to get to your desired outcome. So you got to align your choices with your desired outcome. If you want growth, then you're going to have to stop nurturing comfort. If you want peace, then you're going to have to stop tolerating chaos. If you want better results, you're going to have to raise your standards before you raise your expectations. Oh, that was so good. If you raise your standards before you raise your expectations, you're going to get disappointed. You got to raise your standards first, and then you can raise the expectations that you have. And that's in any area where you want change. Change is not just a statement, it's a system that you align in your own life. You align the things that you are doing so that you are moving towards your desired outcome. So after you have awareness, number one, then you have alignment. And the last thing that you need to have is accountability. You got to have that accountability so that you sustain this thing daily. And this is one thing that I know transformation sticks when you have someone that's walking the journey with you. So invite your mentors, your coaches, your peers to hold you accountable to whatever evolution you're trying to make in your life, in your business, in your relationship. Create those checkpoints for yourself. For example, you could have weekly reflections. You can have those measurable goals. Make sure the goals are measurable. You don't want to just have a goal out there and it look good on your board, on your vision board, but you never do anything with it. And you want to definitely have mindset resets if you need it. And I want to encourage all of you that the version of you that can handle more must be trained, not wished into existence. Like you can't wish it into existence. You can make all the confessions you want to confess all day long. You can even pray all day long. Faith requires action. So if you don't start moving, being aware, aligned, and accountable, you won't see the change that you really want. So, whatever your change is today, I encourage all of you, whatever platform, YouTube, wherever you are, I encourage you to identify one thing that you've been talking about changing and then move into alignment with it and get some accountability behind it. And then the one thing I ask of y'all, I ask that you share this with another leader who needs this conversation. It doesn't matter what level of leadership they're at. They could be leading themselves, but if they need this conversation, share it with them. Let them know that we're having these Tuesday Leadership with Leader talks weekly. And I am excited and encouraged about the growth that I'm seeing, the feedback that I'm getting. So share it with someone. Share it with someone. And if you don't have anything that you want to share or anything that you want to put in the chat, you're welcome to put it in the comments when I post the video. You can you can send it to me in a DM. If it's pertaining to the talk that we have, I will certainly respond to that. And so I want to leave y'all with this closing thought. Your leadership won't change because you want it to, because you wish it to, or even because you pray it to. It'll change because you're willing to. Awareness is the spark, alignment is the flame, and accountability keeps it burning. So as you go into the rest of your day and the rest of this week, think about the change that you want to make and the steps that you need to take to get there. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It's been great, and I look forward to the next time. All right, y'all. Peace.